The conversation around whether Carlos King ever made a promise about Arianne and Melody has become one of the most talked about topics connected to love and marriage Huntsville. It has sparked debates, reactions, and strong opinions across social media. People are asking one main question. Did Carlos really tell Melody that Arianne would never appear on the show, or is this something that has been misunderstood over time? To understand this situation clearly, we have to look at the history behind it. The connection between Melody, Martell, and Arianne has never been simple. It is a story that has been discussed for years, and it carries a lot of emotion. Viewers have followed every moment, every argument, and every update. Because of this, people feel personally invested in what happens next. Melody's journey on the show has been one of growth, pain, and strength. She entered the show as a wife, a businesswoman, and someone focused on building a future. Over time, her personal life became a major part of the storyline. Her marriage faced serious challenges, and those challenges played out in front of millions of viewers. That is not something easy for anyone to go through. At the center of that struggle was Martell and his connection with Arianne. This is where things became complicated. Many viewers believe that Arianne played a major role in the breakdown of Melody's marriage. Because of that, emotions around her name have always been strong. People have formed opinions, taken sides, and continued to discuss the situation long after it first came out. Now, the question about a promise has added a new layer to this story. Some fans strongly believe that Carlos, as the producer, made a commitment to Melody. They believe he promised that Arianne would never appear on the show in a direct way. For them, this idea makes sense. They feel that after everything Melody went through, she deserved that level of protection. On the other side, there are viewers who are not convinced. They believe that there is no clear proof that such a promise was ever made. They argue that what people are calling a promise might actually be an assumption. In reality TV, not everything is explained openly, and sometimes viewers fill in the gaps with their own ideas. Carlos King plays a very important role in all of this. As a producer, he is responsible for how the story is told. He decides what is shown, what is not shown, and how situations are presented to the audience. Because of this, many people feel that he has a responsibility to handle sensitive situations carefully. Over the years, viewers have noticed certain things that have added to the confusion. For example, Arianne has never appeared on the show as a full cast member. This is something that stands out, especially because her name has been mentioned so many times. The only time people really heard her presence was through audio clips, and even that caused a strong reaction. For some fans, this absence feels intentional. They believe it supports the idea that a promise may have been made. They think that if there was no agreement, Arianne would have already appeared on screen like other people connected to the cast. From their point of view, keeping her off camera shows that there may have been boundaries set behind the scenes. However, others see it differently. They believe that not showing Arianne could simply be a creative decision. Reality TV is carefully planned, and producers often decide what will create the most impact. Sometimes what is not shown can be just as powerful as what is shown. Keeping someone off screen can create mystery, keep people talking, and maintain interest in the storyline. Another important part of this situation is how viewers interpret what they see. Everyone watches the show with their own perspective. Some people focus on certain moments more than others. A single scene, a comment, or even a reaction can shape how someone understands the entire story. This is why opinions can be so different, even when people are watching the same show. The reunion episodes have also played a role in shaping this discussion. During those moments, sensitive topics were brought up openly. Conversations about Martell and Arianne were not hidden. They were discussed in front of Melody, which made things even more emotional. Some viewers felt that these discussions were unfair to her, while others believed it was part of being on a reality show. This brings up another important point about reality television. It is not just entertainment. It involves real people and real emotions. Even though the show is edited and produced, the situations are not completely fake. The feelings, the reactions, and the consequences are real for the people involved. Because of this, many viewers believe that there should be limits. They feel that certain lines should not be crossed, especially when it comes to deeply personal issues. If a promise was made to protect Melody from further stress, they believe it should have been respected at all times. At the same time, reality TV depends on conflict. Drama is what keeps people watching. When there are unresolved issues, viewers stay engaged. They want answers. They want closure. This creates a difficult balance for producers. They have to keep the show interesting, but they also have to consider the well-being of the cast. Melody's position in the show has also changed over time. She is no longer just a cast member. She has built her own brand outside of the show. She is a businesswoman, an author, and a public figure. Because of this, some fans believe she has more control over what she agrees to be part of. If she felt strongly about not sharing a platform with Arianne, it is possible that discussions took place behind the scenes. These discussions may not have been public, which is why there is so much speculation. Without clear confirmation, people are left to interpret what they see. Another reason this topic continues to grow is because of social media. Today, fans do not just watch the show, they discuss it, analyze it, and share their opinions instantly. A single question can turn into a major debate within hours. That is exactly what has happened with this situation. People are not just asking if a promise was made, they are also asking what that promise means. Does it mean complete protection? Does it mean certain limits? Or does it mean something else entirely? These questions do not have simple answers, which is why the discussion continues. Martell's role in all of this cannot be ignored either. His actions and decisions have always been a major part of the storyline. Recently, some viewers have noticed changes in how much he is shown on the show. This has led to more speculation about what might be happening behind the scenes. When screen time changes, people start asking questions. Is it a creative choice? Is it related to personal situations? Or is it connected to larger decisions about the direction of the show? These are the kinds of thoughts that keep fans engaged and curious. The idea of situationships has also been mentioned by many viewers. Instead of clear relationships, there are often unclear connections that leave room for interpretation. This type of dynamic creates more discussion because people are trying to figure out what is really happening. In the case of Martell and Arianne, many people believe their connection was never clearly defined. This adds to the confusion. Without clear answers, viewers create their own understanding based on what they see and hear. All of this shows how powerful reality TV has become. It is no longer just about watching a show. It is about being part of an ongoing conversation. Fans feel connected to the story, and they want to understand every detail. The question about Carlos and the promise is a perfect example of this. It may seem like a simple question, but it represents something much bigger. It represents trust, loyalty, and responsibility. It also shows how much influence producers have over what viewers see. Another important point is that not everything that happens behind the scenes becomes public. There are contracts, agreements, and private discussions that viewers never see. Because of this, it is possible that some details may never be fully explained. This does not stop people from asking questions, though. In fact, it often makes them more curious. When something is not clear, people pay more attention. They look for clues, analyze past moments, and try to connect everything together. Some fans believe that bringing Arianne on the show would provide closure. They think it would allow everyone to face the situation directly. Others strongly disagree. They believe it would only reopen old wounds and create more conflict. This difference in opinion shows how divided the audience can be. There is no single way to view the situation. Everyone has their own thoughts based on what matters most to them. At the end of the day, the truth about whether a promise was made remains unclear. There is no confirmed statement that answers the question completely. This leaves room for ongoing discussion, and that discussion continues to grow. What is clear is that the story of Melody, Martell, and Arianne has had a lasting impact. It has shaped the show in many ways and continues to influence how people see it today. The emotions connected to this story are still strong, even after all this time. Carlos King's role as a producer means he will always be part of these conversations. People will continue to question his decisions and his intentions. That is part of being in a position of influence. As the show continues, new stories will come and new questions will be asked. But some topics, like this one, stay with the audience. They become part of the larger conversation that never fully ends. For now, the idea of a promise remains something that people believe, question, and debate. Some are sure it happened, others are not convinced, and many are simply watching to see if more information will come out in the future. This situation reminds everyone that in reality TV, not everything is simple. There are many layers, many perspectives, and many things that are never fully explained. That is what keeps people watching, talking, and coming back for more. And as long as viewers continue to ask questions and share their opinions, the conversation around this topic will continue to grow.